Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. Susan Scully, MS, RHIA, CCS, CCSP, AHIMA, candidate for 2021 AHIMA House of Delegates Speaker-elect. I am Lisa Russo, president of NJHIMA, and will be your moderator for this afternoon.
And I am Megan Liebner. I am president-elect. I will be one of the panelists along with Carol Liebner and Victoria Page.
All right. Thanks, Megan. I'm Carol, and I'm going to introduce you to our candidate. Susan Scully is an MS, RHIA, CCS, CCSP, and AHIMA. And I thought I was a credential junkie. Susan is the Director of Health Information Management Department at
I'm done.
Burlington County. She has over 30 years of experience in health information management and coding. She received her associate's degree in health information technology through AHIMA Independent Study Program and Burlington County College. She received a Bachelor of Science degree in health information administration from Stevens College, and she received a Master's of Science degree in health information management with a certificate in informatics from the College of St. Scholastica. In 2014, she was the recipient of the AHIMA Triumph Award for mentorship, as well as being inducted into the BCC Alumni Hall of Fame. In 2015, Susan was granted the honor of fellowship in the American Health Information Management Association, and she has been an active participant in NJHIMA for many, many years. So it's my pleasure to get started, and that's Susan.
And we would like to thank all of the panelists and the attendees, including the ladies on our screen at the moment, for taking time out of your very busy schedules to join us on this call to meet our candidate for 2021 Speaker-elect to the AHIMA House of Delegates, Susan Scully.
And just for your information, today's town hall will be recorded and available as on-demand event until the end of the election. Our panelists have a series of questions for Susan. Our goal is to allow AHIMA and NJHIMA membership to get a chance to understand Susan's background and qualifications for the role of AHIMA Speaker-elect. Also, we want to open the forum to allow you, the NJHIMA, AHIMA members, to have a virtual real-time conversation with Susan to pose any questions related to AHIMA that you may have. All right, let's begin.
Okay.
All right, who's got the first question?
That would be me. You have a long history of volunteering in NJHIMA. Please share with us a little bit about what roles you've held.
Oh boy. I have been involved for many years. I became a member of AHIMA originally back in 1987 when I enrolled in the independent study program, and you had to become a member. I started volunteering in the early 1990s at the urging of a colleague who had become involved and wanted me to become active in the association. My first position was a member of the Public Relations Committee, which I was on for a couple of years. Then I was the chair of the Public Relations Committee for a couple of years. Other committees that I've worked on are the Data Committee, the Nominating Committee, Annual Meeting Committee, and for several years I was the Student Coordinator. I have served as a delegate, an elected delegate twice, and as president 3 times. Each of the terms as president is a 3-year term, and each of those terms I was a delegate for the state of New Jersey. On the national level, I served a 2-year term on the AHIMA Triumph Committee. I think that's the last of it.
That's the last. All right, now it's my turn. Can you share how your volunteer experience has prepared you for the position of Speaker-elect?
Okay, well, I think having been a delegate for almost 15 years has given me a really good understanding of the House of Delegates and the responsibilities there. I know over the years that the structure of the House of Delegates has changed a couple of times, but the fundamental purpose has still remained the same. The position of Speaker-elect presides over the House leadership team, which is a delegate from each state, forms that House leadership and the quarterly House forums. Having served as president of the New Jersey CSA 3 times, I learned a lot about working with teams and listening to each of the members and taking what they have to say to heart. It's really important to listen to everybody's ideas and not make anybody feel left out or foolish for commenting. So it's a balancing act as to how to deal with everybody. On my professional side, as the director of the HIM program, I've had to schedule meetings, create agendas, chair different meetings, and prepare the minutes. So I'm very familiar with preparing for meetings and scheduling meetings and those types of things. These activities, I think, give me an edge in the responsibilities as the position of Speaker-elect. And as anyone knows me, as all of you do, you'll know that I am an active participant in meetings, driving the discussion and keeping order in the conversation on an even keel.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Susan. So my question is, the House of Delegates has the responsibility of reviewing and commenting on AHIMA public policy statements in support of the organization's advocacy agenda. One of the House of Delegates' strategic goals for 2021 is to increase participation in the policy statement review process to 75% participation by all CSAs. What do you see as a key challenge to achieving this goal? And can you share your thoughts on how this goal might be achieved?
Wow. Well, I think the biggest challenge is getting members to believe that their contributions are valuable, like I said a minute ago, no matter how big or small they are. You encourage people to speak more often when they feel like their voice is being heard and appreciated. So increasing participation by 75% is a pretty lofty goal, but it's not unachievable. I think there's several different things that CSAs can do. You can reach out to your membership and ask for members who have a specific skill set. So maybe a list can be created so that you have something to fall back to when the advocacy issues come forward. There are so many members in the association who are not active participants in the CSA, but they can be a great asset in regard to policy statement review. If they're assured that it's a small commitment, maybe a couple of hours just to review a policy and give their opinion, it makes them feel like they're involved, and it's a great asset to each of the CSAs. So creating the list is something that you can continue to do. The responsibility of the list could be assigned to a member of the advocacy committee or to a specific member of the board of directors. So that's a start. Another thing that you could do is to look at the CSA membership lists. I believe that the membership lists actually give you the job title of the person or the member. When you get a specific policy statement and you're not sure of how to respond to it, you could look at the membership list and see if there's somebody there with a job title or a responsibility that may be able to offer assistance. And you could do that if you find people. You could have the president of the association maybe email that person and just ask them for their assistance. You know, AHIMA put out this policy statement. Nobody on the board has the specific skill sets that you may have, and we wanted to know if you would read it and give us some advice or let us know what your thoughts are on it.
Great.
I know that another part of the goal for advocacy is increasing the number of members who participate in the calls to action. I think that was another of the delegate issues. I actually went out to the AHIMA website and I noticed that under Take Action, there were 4 issues of call to action. And I think one of the things you might be able to do to increase the membership's response to these is to make them know that they're there. I don't think that a lot of the members understand advocacy. It's a scary word. So if maybe an email or one of the blasts goes out, you could explain what the advocacy issues are and with a link to that particular website, and explain that it doesn't take a lot of time. You would just need to fill out that form and click the send button. The templates are all created. So, and it can encourage members to participate more and let them know it only takes a few minutes. But now that they know where that website is, they may be more apt to go out there again. And when there is a huge issue, like there have been a few over the past few years, I can't remember a particular one right now, but where they were really pushing to try to get something changed, then the members that maybe followed that link once a year or so ago will be more apt to follow it again when a big issue arises.
Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What are your thoughts on CSAs such as AHIMA creating a way for members to voice their concerns and suggestions on their website and advertising on social media?
I think it's a great idea. More and more communication is done via the internet and electronically. So that's the way that you need to get to the members. An email maybe announcing the news section or the e-blasts that are done. The news section of the website can be sent in addition to advertising on social media. It can encourage the members to let the leadership know when things are maybe not working and ask for suggestions on how they can be remedied. In addition to that, when you get direct contact from somebody saying there's an issue that maybe needs to be taken to the board of directors, ask them if they want to be involved or participate in the discussion. You know, somebody usually brings up an issue when it affects them directly. So if then maybe they're asked to be a part of the discussion to either remedy an issue or discuss a particular topic, they might be more amenable to becoming involved in the association at a later date.
All right. The Speaker-elect will preside over the House leadership team and the quarterly House forums by developing agenda content and program of work. What suggestions do you have for CSAs on how they can reach out to members to seek input on trends that are happening in the industry?
This kind of goes with the previous question about concerns and suggestions. Maybe you could combine an email blast on this. You could ask them what they're seeing in the industry and what concerns do they have about things that are going on and new trends in their jobs that they're seeing. You figure that the CSAs, the board is maybe 15 or 20 people. And they may have various types of jobs, but think about the hundreds of members that are involved in each CSA and what their contribution could be. I mean, how many different jobs can an HIM professional hold? There's hundreds of different places they can work. And having somebody or an avenue for those members to actually contribute to is I think, a great idea. But I wouldn't stop there. I mean, you can start with maybe an email, but don't inundate with emails because we all know if we get too many from the same person, you just delete them without looking at them. So you don't want to do that. But maybe your board can brainstorm and think of different things that you can do to ask for the information. I mean, now that the world is starting to normalize again and people are going out without their face masks and fear of, just fear. We're having face-to-face meetings again. Maybe during a quarterly meeting or your annual meeting, you can have a roundtable and discuss these kinds of issues. It's been my experience in the past that, and I like these sometimes and I don't like them sometimes, but if you have a group of 100 people in a room and you break them into a group of 10 at a table, especially if you give them dessert or something, then they're more likely to talk about different things. I mean, you could have like 3 questions to ask, and one being, what are any of the changes that you have seen in your particular job that may affect the HIM profession? I mean, many of the things that you're going to hear will probably be the same, but because the membership is so diverse, there may be that one person that works in one position that is seeing an issue that maybe not a lot of other people see. So I think that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
I agree. Okay, Susan, how do you see the role of the Speaker of the House in regards to strategic goal number 3, which is improving communications between the House of Delegates and AHIMA's Board of Directors?
Okay. Well, I understand that the House of Delegates is going to create a task force, or it has been created, called the Communications Task Force. Carol, you were on that task force, correct?
I am. Correct.
I think this is a great way to identify potential ways to increase the bidirectional communication between the House of Delegates and the Board of Directors. And by creating a communications plan that will be sort of set in stone, it's something that can be referred back to. I think the speaker serves as an ex officio member of the Board of Directors and participates in 4 of the Board of Directors meetings each year. And it would be their responsibility to bring the results of the communication to the House of Delegates, or from the House of Delegates to the Board of Directors, as well as to bring back to the House of Delegates whatever discussion happened at the Board of Directors. I know there's been some issues over the past few years where members feel that there was no communication prior to an event occurring. I understand that the need for the Board of Directors activities to be kept under wraps in certain circumstances and until they're ready to be revealed to the members. Not everything can be that transparent, but if an issue being discussed directly affects all members, the members should be allowed to participate in making a decision. And I think that as we move forward, if we have a communications plan in place, then the Board of Directors, as well as the House of Delegates, will improve our communications. And I think once the data plan or the communications plan is in effect, then it will be more clarified what the speaker's role in those communications will be.
All right. This is the last one of our questions. How do you plan to support and strengthen AHIMA's strategic plan?
Okay, raise your hands. Who's actually read it? Come on, come on. Okay, I actually read it, and before I was a candidate for speaker-elect. But the new mission of the AHIMA is empowering people to impact health. I like the new mission because it's not long. It doesn't focus on one particular topic, and it puts the onus on the people, empowering people. To me, this new mission is twofold. if you think about it, empowering people to be active participants in their own healthcare and empowering members of AHIMA to move the profession forward. So it's kind of twofold in that respect. It's not only the responsibility of the AHIMA staff and the AHIMA board of directors, but it's going to be the responsibility of every single member. And since everything in healthcare moves at the speed of light, changes are just crazy. Technology changes, government policies, reimbursement methods, and the fact that patients are more involved in their care now challenges all HIM professionals every single day. So when you look to the strategic plan, it's 2020 to 2023, there are 3 strategic outcomes that AHIMA established. And I want to go over those 3 really quickly in my interpretation of those. So the first one is advance and advocate for the creation and use of trusted information across the evolving healthcare continuum. To me, this should be part of every single professional's personal mission, making others aware of the HIM profession and what we do makes us relevant. So it's important when somebody says, oh, what does that mean? You know, take a minute, explain to them what it means. Give them an idea of what the HIM profession is and the jobs that are involved with it. Explain who AHIMA is and what their mission is. So, you know, take a little bit of pride in your profession and share it with somebody. So the second thing is shape the health information profession by growing the influence and competitiveness of health information skill sets. Anybody that has been in this profession for more than 10 years knows that those skill sets change like constantly. When I first began in the HIM profession back in 1993, then learning how to do terminal digit and alphabetic filing was like on the forefront. It was the most important thing that you needed to be able to do at the time. We all know that that is pretty much obsolete now. Everything is moving towards the electronic format. So it's extremely important that current members look at the new trends in HIM and keep abreast of the new technology. One of the things I think is really important for current members, especially those that have been in the profession for a long time, because we tend to stay in our little niche and that's what we do. And I have been at fault to that in the past. But this year, I made a vow to myself that I was going to try to learn some of the things that I really didn't want to know. As working in education, I think it's important that I learn a little bit about everything. So when I went to the annual meeting this year, we all know that ended about a week or so ago, I picked topics that I knew nothing about, or things that I really wouldn't on a normal day look at. So I think I watched like 10 different videos, and at least 6 of them were things that were new topics to me. So I think it's important that we keep abreast doing that. And I challenge every one of you, all of you, to do something that's out of your wheelhouse and learn something about the profession that you didn't know. The second thing that I think is really important is that our new professionals, making sure that they have the education that they need in today's HIM reality. AHIMA and KHIM, the accrediting body for the HIM programs, has been great at making sure we do that. In 2018, they came up with a whole new set of domain subdomains, and tasks that HIM programs are required to meet. Included in those new domains are 2 tracks, one being revenue cycle and one being data management. As we're teaching the basic HIM program courses, we now have to choose a track for data management or revenue cycle to focus specifically on those 2 issues, which are huge in today's HIM workplace. So as my students or any student from any HIM program are graduating, they are going to be relevant in today's workplace. Oh, the last thing. The last strategic outcome is drive strategic transformation and renewed growth as a great partner and a place to work. Keeping AHIMA strong by having strong leadership and building strong alliances and supporting its members through its activities and programs and support is key. As things change, AHIMA needs to change. Our partnerships need to change. We need to make sure we're aligned with the right people and focus on growing the profession. And it's important that each and every member helps us do that. It just doesn't happen overnight. So I think that's really important. And the other thing is, as I asked that question at the very beginning of this statement, how many of you have actually read the strategic plan? It's about 11 pages long, but it's got some beautiful graphics on it. And I challenge every CSA to create a PowerPoint with a couple different slides and present it at either your annual meeting or one of your quarterly meetings and share the content of that strategic plan with your members. Because if the members don't know what AHIMA is doing, then they're not going to know what to do. The 3 strategic outcomes specifically talk about kind of like grassroots things people can do. But if the grassroots don't know what they are, nothing will get done. So take 10 minutes at your meeting and share that strategic plan. It's so important to the progress of the association.
I've read it.
I agree. You got me taking notes now.
I said I've read it.
Carol read it. Oh, okay. Okay. But what I just told you, those 3 strategic outcomes were the gist of the whole thing. So I think it's really important to share those with our members. It also makes them more informed, and it just makes for a better membership.
I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Good.
Like I said, you got me taking notes now. So now,
well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, you got great ideas. I'm like, now we need this for New Jersey. So now we're going to open it up, the questions to our audience. So if anybody has any, please put them in the questions box. I do have one in there. I have no questions, but do want to wish Susan the best of luck in the elections. That's from Diane Stoner.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Anything else?
That's it so far. I'll give it maybe another minute to see if anybody else has anything.
Okay.
But I do want to say I totally agree with you when
I can't think of anything
said,
else in particular.
I agree with what you were saying about communicating with your CSA and letting the members know what's going on. Yeah, I agree. There's certain things that you don't want to, you need to be kept quiet about in the beginning, until it's ready to be let out. But when it involves the membership, absolutely. And I think, the communication goes both ways. If we communicate out to the membership, we might get more communication out from them. So,
Right.
um,
Another little thing I thought of too, you know, as I was reading these questions, you know, 1,000 different things go through your head. And one of the things that I thought of too was I talked about doing the round table for suggestions, what changes are in your area and what new trends are you seeing. Another thing you could do is have like cards and a box at your meetings for suggestions, complaints, what new trends are you seeing in your job, and those kind of things. You know, you may not get a lot, but you know, one or two, it's a start. You could do that at the annual meeting or at your regular meetings. Make sure that each person takes one, because once it's in their hand, they'll usually read it. They may not fill it out, but they'll usually read it. If it's in the bag, they may not look at it.
Right.
we do
No
have
other
another
question?
comment. Yeah, we do have another comment from
Okay.
Kathleen. Kathleen would like to say, just want you to know you have my vote.
Hey.
Thank you, Kathleen. Oh, and good luck to you. You're running for something as well, right?
Yes, Kathleen is running for nomination committee.
Yay, Kathleen.
Wonderful. Good luck, Kathleen. You have my vote.
Okay, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, she put in there nominating committee, thanks.
Okay.
All right, Susan, do you have any closing remarks
Excellent.
at this moment?
I just want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to the webinar today, and to definitely thank NJHIMA for supporting me and doing this little webinar and to record it for me. I believe that I am a great candidate for the speaker-elect position, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you to meet the goals of the House of Delegates, as well as to strive to accomplish the strategic outcomes for AHIMA. Thank you all so much.
As a reminder, I do want to remind you that only members of the House of Delegates can vote for speaker-elect. But we do appreciate any and all support that you can by informing your delegates of Susan's qualifications. So anything that you can do to support Susan, we would greatly appreciate. And don't forget, delegate
Thank you
voting
so
begins
much.
on July 26th and runs through August 9th.
July 28th.
July 28th?
I remember that because it's my birthday.
Okay. And
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Double check that.
Yeah, she is. It's her birthday.
And the URL
I
to
believe
vote
it's her birthday.
No, it's
You were
definitely
saying, I was-
July 28th.
I was trying to be funny. I knew what you were saying.
I will double check.
I
but
know you did.
The URL to vote is www.ahima.org/VOTE vote. And Susan, NJHIMA just wants to wish you luck as the NJHIMA candidate for speaker-elect. You know you have our support and you have our vote as well. We support you 100%. And we want to thank everyone for attending as well.
Thank you so much. That means I'll have 5 whole votes. Woohoo!
Oh, come on. You'll have more than that.
Definitely more than that.
Okay, maybe 6. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And
Thank
report
you.
for you.
Yes, thank you. This brings our webinar to an end, and thank you all for attending. I apologize, I cannot find the stop button.
I'm not moving until you shut it off.
I know, I'm sitting there going, I can't find it.